As I had done once before, I entered the cabin, located my medical bag, and returned outside to treat the silver fox. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead. We picked out all of our keywords. Now let's go ahead and fill out our gist. Okay, so the who, the what, and the where. In this text, we want to also think about the text structure when we talk about our gist, right? So it seems like this text is or like in the text, I learned about the order of events. Notice how I'm putting order of events because I know that this is a chronological text. The order of events on how, here's my what, the red fox got healed. I guess we can say, well, we could just leave it right there. That's fine. Okay. All right, so we know that the main idea of this text is basically to tell us, the reader, that the order of events, like we're learning about the order of events on how the fox got healed, right? Because it started on the fox being noticed first, and then all the way down to the red fox was able to get a friend to get healed as well. So the key words that we picked out, let's go ahead and go in order. So we have first, we have June morning, right? We have then, we have next, we have one morning in July, we have late on August afternoon. Okay, so all of these keywords kind of help us know that this is a chronological or sequential order text. So now let's move on to our timeline, okay? Whenever we talk about sequential order, we always are dealing with the timeline on like when things happen. So I want you guys to know that this is actually a box. So you're not going to be able to type in it. As you can see, I'm not able to type in it, right? So you can use a separate sheet of paper, but I'm going to try my best to use the marker. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to look fancy, but I want you guys to try your best to go ahead and fill in the timeline, okay? So we're going to try to make it work. If it doesn't work, then we can actually erase the timeline and we could just write it, okay? But I want to see if this works first. So, okay. So let's go ahead and get started. I don't know if that one is going to work. Let's try to use the pencil. Let's see if the pencil will work better. Okay, so guys, what happened first? When I go back to the text, when I go back up to the text, guys, I see that the first thing that happened, it says, I first spotted the red fox. So the red fox was first spotted with an injury, right? That was the first thing that happened. So let's go ahead and write that in our timeline as best as we can. So the red, and I really don't like that color. I don't like that color. It's too dark. So the red, too light. That's okay. So this one is kind of working out. The red fox. Okay. I know it doesn't look fancy, but just try to go on. The red fox was spotted. Okay. Okay. So the red fox was spotted, right? That's the first thing that happened. The next thing is actually going to be right below that, right? So I want you to look on a timeline. So it's not going to be this box here because that happens third. You have to look at the lines and see how the time progresses. So the next thing that happened, of course, is that the narrator actually went to go grab his medical bag, right? Because the fox can't be treated for the injury unless he went to go grab his bag. So we have medical bag. And guys, when you use a separate sheet of paper, you can actually write it in full sentences. But right now, since I don't, since I have the marker, I can only write a few. And I know that this looks horrible, but we're just going to make it work. So he went to grab his medical bag, okay? And then he also treated the injury, okay? So he grabbed his bag, he treated the injury, okay? Good. So red fox spotted, medical bag grabbed, he treated the injury. Third, what happened next? So when we go back to the text, remember, you always want to go back to the text to make sure you know what's going on. You never just want to think in your mind. So we have then, next, I gently lifted his injured leg and attached a splint. Okay. After that, guys, we see that it says, on my porch, I set up a wooden box padded with pillows so the fox could heal. And then he placed food and water. So we know that now the red fox is being taken care of, right? So the red fox is being fed and taken care of, okay? Again, guys, I know that this is not pretty, but just try your best to follow along, okay? So taken care of. Okay. And so now we're moving on to what happened fourth. After that, guys, he noticed something really strange. He noticed that what happened in July. He stepped out on the porch and the fox was gone. Okay, that's very important to the text. So this is what happened fourth. So the fox was gone. Okay, good. Now, think about what happened after that. After the fox left, what do we know happened? It looks like late August afternoon, he saw the red fox coming back, except this time the red fox was not alone. The red fox had a silver fox limping along. So it seems like next the red fox brought the silver fox. So red brought silver. Okay. Good. And so lastly, guys, what happened last? When we talk about what happened last, we look at the final sentence. As I had done before, I entered the cabin, located my bag, and returned to treat the silver fox. So it's basically repeating itself, right? So the same thing, medical bag, treated, right? He saw that the silver fox was hurt, so he got his medical bag again, and he treated the silver fox. Okay. Good. So, guys, this is how a timeline works. You pretty much want to look at the lines and look at how events happen in order. Okay. Now we're going to move on to answer our questions. Okay. Now, good. Let's go on to number 1. So number 1 says, remember, every time we read our question, we want to mark up the question. So it says, sorry guys, I want to make sure I'm doing this. What happened after? This is very important. What happened after the author discovered that the red fox was injured? So guys, when you are looking at these questions, you have to go back to the text. So we're going to go back to the text and we are going to underline. I'm going to use a different color for this, where we see what happened. So it says, what happened after the fox was discovered that he had an injury. So it says, I approached the animal cautiously and saw its left hind leg was injured. Guys, this is what's happening next. So I'm going to go ahead and underline it. I went inside my cabin and got my medical bag. And I'm going to put number 1. Okay, this is my answer to my first question. So he didn't treat the fox yet. He actually had to go and grab his medical bag. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to question 1 and let's see which answer choice matches that. So A, he treated the fox's injury. So guys, no, he can't treat the injury without the bag. So we know that that's incorrect. B, he noticed the red fox behind the tool shed. Not quite. That was before that. C, the red fox left the, nope, he hasn't been treated yet. So we know he retrieved his medical bag from inside the cabin. That is exactly what matches the evidence that we chose. This is why it's important that you always go back and pick the evidence out. Now let's go to number 2. It says, which, we always box up our question prompt. Which of the following, that means these following statements, happened to make the red fox guide the silver fox to the tool shed? Okay, so basically it's asking what had to happen in order for the red fox to take the silver fox to the tool shed. Okay, so this is pretty much kind of almost like an inference that we have to make based on what happened in the text. So let's look at our answer choices here. A, the red fox hid behind the tool shed. So when I think about the red fox hiding behind the tool shed, that has nothing to do with the silver fox. We want to think about what was wrong with the silver fox. When I go back to the text, in the text, it talks about how the silver fox was limping, right? It says, a short distance behind, a silver fox was limping along, right? So it seems like the silver fox is hurt. So in order for the red fox to take the silver fox to the tool shed, the red fox had to remember what happened to him, right? So the red fox was injured and he knew that he got his injury treated when he went to the cabin, right? Or to the tool shed. So let's look at the answer choices. The red fox hid behind the tool shed. No, we can eliminate that because we know that that doesn't have anything to do with the silver fox. B, the man helped the red fox by treating his injury. That could possibly be the answer, but let's check the rest. C, the man checked the porch each morning after the red fox left. Again, that has nothing to do with the silver fox being injured. And then D, the silver fox was fearful. So we know that B is actually the answer because since the red fox remembered what happened to him, he was able to bring the silver fox to get treated as well. Okay, good, guys. So I want you to go back and I want you to look at what I did first. Remember, we first read the text, we picked out our keywords, we did our gist, our keywords, we did our timeline, and then we answered our questions. So now is the time for you to go to your independent practice. It's very similar to what we just did. It's called 30 Seconds of Fuel. And I want you guys to read the text first, pick out your keywords, your gist, Here's your timeline, and then here are your questions, okay? So remember, do your independent practice first before you do the exit ticket so that you can be successful. If you have any questions about this, guys, because I know that these texts are a little bit longer, you can always give me a call or you can write in the Google Classroom. See you later, guys.